You can now get a 30-day trial to experience The Athletic for free. Visit the link in the description below to try it now.
In this series, we analyse teams, identify problem areas, and suggest solutions in the form of incoming players. We don't follow gossip, rumours or conjecture, and we're concerned only with the player's on-court performance, their suitability for the role in question, and the salary cap viability of any trade or free agent signing. Today's team is the Boston Celtics. Welcome to Sensible Trades. Last season, Brad Stevens left his role as the Celtics head coach to become the team's president of basketball operations. His replacement at courtside was Ime Udoka, the former Spurs and Nets assistant taking on his first head coaching role. And so began a bumpy period of transition. On the 1st of January, the Celtics were 17-9, fighting for, at best, it seemed, a place in the postseason play-in tournament. And then came the turnaround. Embracing a defensive identity and powered by a playmaking growth in star player Jason Tatum, Boston climbed to second in the Eastern Conference standings and embarked upon a run to the NBA Finals, where they eventually lost to the Golden State Warriors. Back in January, there was a growing feeling among fans and pundits that Boston might need to break up their star duo of Tatum and Jaylen Brown. The pair were perceived as an ill fit, and it was suggested one should be sacrificed in order to build around the other. But the Celtics' finals run has proven once and for all that Tatum and Brown can thrive together. And, aged 24 and 25 respectively, they both have their best years ahead of them. And that's why any thoughts of offering a trade package built around Brown for the Brooklyn Nets want-away superstar Kevin Durant, who'll be 34 by the start of next season, should be resisted. Instead, the Celtics' quest this offseason is to build on the success of the previous campaign with savvy additions to address a couple of key weaknesses. Namely, a need for better shooting and bench scoring to alleviate some of the offensive burden Tatum and Brown carry, and additional playmaking to help remedy the high turnover rate that proved costly in the finals. Any new arrivals, however, must not compromise the defensive foundation upon which their finals run was built. Boston had the highest rated defense in the NBA last year. They employed switch-heavy tactics, with every member of the starting five an excellent individual defender capable of guarding multiple positions. And the moves the Celtics have already made largely tick these boxes. They've acquired guard Malcolm Brogdon from the Indiana Pacers for a modest package of a 2023 first-round draft pick and a group of end-of-bench players including backup center Daniel Tice and young wing Aaron Nesmith. Brogdon is a 37.6% career three-point shooter and high-quality defender who scored 19.1 points per game last season while adding 5.9 assists. The other new arrival is veteran forward Danilo Gallinari. The 33-year-old was sent to the San Antonio Spurs this offseason as part of a headline-grabbing trade that saw the Atlanta Hawks acquire all-star guard DeJounte Murray. Gallinari was then waived by the Spurs before agreeing a 2-year deal to fit with Boston's $6.4 million mid-level exception. This is a salary cap exception that allows teams to sign free agents to contracts higher than the minimum salary, regardless of whether they're already above the cap. Gallinari is a proven NBA scorer, averaging 15.6 points per game across his career, and has been an above 40% three-point shooter in 3 of his last 4 seasons. His waning mobility on defense, however, is a slight concern. So, the Celtics could make no further additions and still be content with their summer business. However, Stevens has indicated that he's been given the green light from ownership to spend big in pursuit of a first title since 2008. Boston are already above the threshold for luxury tax, the financial penalty for exceeding the base salary cap, but they still have room for further improvement if money really is no barrier. A lack of reliable bench scoring was an issue that hamstrung the Celtics in last season's NBA Finals. The moves they've made this off-season have gone some way towards addressing that concern, but the lingering doubts over how Gallinari's defensive inefficiencies could make him difficult to trust with significant postseason minutes might lead the Celtics to believe more scoring help is needed. So, a move to acquire Eric Gordon from the Houston Rockets then would be worth investigating. The veteran wing averages 16.4 points per game across his career, and although his scoring rate dropped slightly last season, his efficiency was at a career best level, shooting 47.5% overall and 41.2% from 3. Gordon is also a dogged perimeter defender, whom Rockets coach Stephen Silas labelled as the best in the league at guarding his guy. Now, despite his unquestionable caliber, at 33, Gordon doesn't fit within the timeline of the youthful rebuilding Rockets. Houston reportedly rejected offers for Gordon ahead of the 2022 draft, but a package of picks and young players could yet convince them to make a deal. However, one of the Celtics' greatest strengths throughout their playoff run last season was their sheer size. They often fielded a double big lineup, with Robert Williams and Al Horford at the 4 and 5 positions. And with the exception of the sparsely used Peyton Pritchard, every other player in their rotation was big for his position. The 6'3" Gordon would be undersized as an off-the-bench stand-in for the 6'6" Jaylen Brown or 6'8" Jason Tatum. Plus his $19.5 million salary for 2022-23 makes him a fairly expensive option. And that is why our pick for a sensible trade target for the Celtics is Doug McDermott. If Boston are willing to part with more future draft assets and another bench player or two, the San Antonio Spurs small forward would be an ideal in-season trade target to further boost their championship potential. The 6'7" wing is an outstanding shooter, averaging 40.9% from 3. With his size and scoring ability, he'd provide direct cover for Tatum and Brown, affording the star duo rest during the regular season and preventing the Celtics' offensive production from nosediving while either is off the court during the playoffs. Boston could match the 30-year-old's $13.75 million salary in a trade package without heavily impacting their rotation. And as indicated by the DeJounte Murray trade, the Spurs appear willing to sacrifice current talent in favor of future draft capital. A modest return of picks could entice them to offload McDermott, with San Antonio seemingly intent on giving themselves the best possible draft odds for 2023, when the French teenage sensation Victor Wembanyama will be the prized pick. Boston signing McDermott in a low-cost deal any time before the mid-season trade deadline would be a move to suit all parties. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you do enjoy Tifo, you'll probably also like The Athletic. It has the best team of basketball writers in the world in a personalised experience connecting you with the teams that you care about the most, plus direct access to world-class journalists through live Q&As. And you can try it now for free for 30 days.